Okay, so we all know that immersion probably should always like feel fun, right? So it should not feel like we're studying, it should feel like we are doing something that we will do on our native language, right? But there are some days in which it's going to be boring and you need to be prepared for that day, because if not, you're just going to not lose your progress, of course, but like that day you're not going to do anything. And like at least that day you can do something if you're prepared for that day, right? So a bit about me before starting. I make this video to improve my English. I'm not a native. I have been studying Japanese for 10 months. The first anime doing immersion was 4 months ago, Horimiya, and I had a comprehension of probably a 20 to 30%. Right now I'm watching Surune, and I have a comprehension of probably 75 to 80% right now. So yeah, that's kind of it. So the first point is just being fine with boringness. So you will find that most of the things that you watch are actually fun, right? But some of them are not in your interest and they are not fun, but they are actually entertaining enough. So you should actually keep it there. So I think that the bare minimum for you to watch some content is just to is just for that content to actually be entertaining enough, right? So you should not feel like the immersion is like super boring, because when the immersion like it's super boring, it's actually it will actually feel very difficult to immerse, and you should, yeah, not think that immersion is always going to be that boring. So you should always be thinking that, oh well, I can watch TikTok, it's probably going to be more fun, but like my immersion is just entertaining enough, so I will probably just do immersion, right? So another thing is just that if you're fine with actually watching boring content, you're probably going to immerse a lot more than you think, right? So let's say that you watch fun content and you watch boring content, right? So if you're fine with both of them, you're probably just going to watch whatever anime that you are like kind of interested about, and even if it's boring, you're going to immerse anyways, right? So you're going to make a lot more progress that way if you are like fine with watching anything, right? Because you don't have to pick whatever anime that it's on your interests, and you don't have to pick like the ideal anime for your immersion. Like just watch whatever. So I think that one of the things that you can probably do to like being fine with boringness is just like focusing on, I mean, doing trivial things on your daily life, right? For example, you probably are too much in your phone, honestly. Like you don't do things on real life that much. So maybe you don't go to exercise, maybe you don't meditate, you don't like, you don't probably talk too much to your parents. Maybe that's actually something that's actually are those are actually all of the things that I did. So I never like talked to my parents a lot. I never exercised like 3 years ago when I started to, learning English. I never did one of those things. I never went to nature because I like nature, and right now I'm a person who likes nature, right? So if you can focus on like things that are very trivial, you probably will be able to like be more bored with animes, because even if it's bored, you're going to enjoy that anime because you actually enjoy your life a lot and you're fine with being bored, right? So I think that the best thing, anyways, the best thing to actually just being bored, to actually just improve your boringness, is just to meditate. So meditation is just the act of focusing on something. You focus on something like, I don't know, your breath. You can focus on, I don't know, this pencil. Like it doesn't matter, right? So you focus on something, you lose your track of thought, and then you go back again to what you were focusing on, right? So that's just how meditation works. So you're going to do this for 3 to 5 minutes a day, and then if you can, try to get it to like 10 minutes a day, and then you can just stop there, right? So you can find a lot of guided meditations in YouTube, and you can find an application in the App Store and in the Play Store as well, called Medito. So it will be Medito, right? So Medito. So you can just find a lot of guided meditations for like 5 minutes, as you can see here, and then you can just meditate for like 5 minutes and see how it feels after like 1 month to 2 months. And like I will think that you will probably um, augmentate how much you can actually immerse, because you are just fine with watching anything probably. So another thing is just not using subtitles. So I was watching a movie yesterday. The movie was one from this anime called Psychopath, right? And I was not using subtitles because I just didn't find them, right? So uh, I just wanted to watch the movie in Japanese because it was immersion, right? So it was like really really painful, honestly, like because I didn't use subtitles. So even though I really wanted to watch the movie, it was actually painful. So that's another thing that you should have in count. So if it's too painful because you are not using subtitles, maybe you shouldn't watch the movie. Like I actually watched the entire movie like it was 2 hours because I really like wanted to watch the fucking movie because I like a lot this anime, right? But if it's going to be a movie that it's entertaining enough and you're not using subtitles, especially if you are not advanced into the language, if you are advanced into the language and you don't want to use subtitles, that's actually fine. But like for people that are actually kind of starting on the language and they don't have that much comprehension without subtitles, I don't think that it is actually a good thing to actually not use subtitles. In fact, I think that not using subtitles never stops. Like you should actually always use subtitles in your probably Asia to Japanese career. So yeah, that's another point. The last point is just not taking proper breaks. So I think that the best breaks are when you just stop using the internet, right? So they also should give you more motivation to keep doing what you care about. So when you take a break, just not use the internet, right? So that taking break is just the perfect time to just practice what I told you 3 minutes about, which is meditation, like right. So when taking a break, just try to do meditation. Try to take a bath. Not multitask. Like don't multitask, right? So when taking a bath or when taking a nap, maybe what you want to do is just actually just take that nap, take that bath, and don't do anything else, right? So don't multitask. That's actually something that it's like really bad for you, right? So like don't multitask. Don't listen to music whilst you take a bath. Like don't do any of those things that can worsen your focus or your ability to concentrate on something, right? Maybe you want to go to nature to actually just relax, maybe take a bit of sunlight. Like those kinds of breaks are actually the best breaks that you can take, and you should be taking them like every hour, every 2 hours of your immersion. So for like 5 to 10 minutes, not that much, because you don't want to actually spend a lot of time on your breaks, and it's actually not necessary. So yeah, I mean that's kind of it, and I hope that this video was actually helpful to you.